Khaled returned to his old inherited house on a dark, quiet night. The house had been abandoned for years. As soon as he stepped inside, he felt an unusual chill filling the place. The room was dark, except for the moonlight streaming through a broken window. As Khaled wandered through the house, he heard footsteps coming from upstairs. He decided to go up and check, and the closer he got to the source, the colder it became. He reached his grandfather's room, which had always been locked. When he opened the door, he saw his grandfather's rocking chair slowly moving as if someone was sitting on it. As he approached the chair, he heard a whispering voice say, "Why did you come back?" His body froze with fear, and when he turned to flee, he found that the door had shut itself tightly. The chair began to rock faster and faster, and suddenly a bony hand emerged from it, grabbing Khaled's shoulder. Then he heard his grandfather's voice, hoarse and distant. "You will never leave." Khaled felt the grip on his shoulder tighten, and the air around him seemed to suffocate. He tried to scream, but no sound came out, as if something was blocking his breath. As he struggled to break free, the chair started shaking violently, and his grandfather's voice echoed in the room, saying, "You promised me you'd never leave the house." At that moment, the walls began to crack, revealing faded faces of people he had never met, all staring at him with empty eyes and eerie smiles. The room seemed to spin around him, as though it was trying to swallow him whole. Every time he tried to escape, he found himself back in the same spot in front of the rocking chair. Suddenly, he heard a muffled noise behind him. When he turned, he saw an old wooden chest in the corner of the room that wasn't there before. He approached it slowly and opened the worn-out lid to find a letter written in his grandfather's handwriting. "I've been searching for an heir to carry my curse, and I've found you." At that moment, the moonlight vanished, and the room was plunged into complete darkness. Khaled felt a cold draft sweeping over him, as if his soul was being pulled out of his body. The last thing he saw was his grandfather's hand reaching towards him. Then he sank into an endless darkness, and the sound and everything around him disappeared. When the police arrived at the house the next day after neighbors reported strange noises, all they found was a rocking chair gently swaying in an empty room and a cold spot on the floor that didn't melt even on the hottest summer days.